Dandadan might be the most insane thing I've ever seen, from Turbo Granny to aliens that look like this, to a man's dong being stolen as part of a curse. I have a lot to say, and a lot of questions. I literally don't even know where to start. I guess I'll speedrun the premise. Basically, our high school leads, Isa and Okarun, get into a disagreement at school. Isa doesn't believe in aliens. Okarun doesn't believe in ghosts. They set out to prove each other wrong, only for both of them to be right. Right off the bat, that's a wild premise, interesting, but wild, and if you think I've spoiled you with that, I'm sorry, but you're mistaken. This is one of the fastest paced anime I've ever seen. They waste no time at all jumping right into everything. So let's do something similar here and jump into the good, the bad, and the batshit of Dandadan. Starting with what I've really enjoyed, Ayase in particular stands out as a great character. She's a Gyaru with a lot of edge, but also a lot of kindness. She's quick to recognize her faults and correct them, which based on initial impressions, I did not expect at all. Describing her is actually really difficult. She has this rough, loud exterior, but doesn't hide the fact that she's also thoughtful, determined, and honest. We get teases of why she is who she is, but I can't wait to dive deeper into that as the season moves along. Her dynamic with Okarun is great. It's natural, wholesome, and also absolutely hilarious. The reason behind why she calls Okarun by that name legitimately cracked me up. We see the layers behind why he even interacted with Ayase in the first place, and it's touching. His dilemma is a unique one, to say the least, and his reactions to everything are incredible. That goes for the comedy in general. The grandma being experienced in the paranormal only to absolutely refuse aliens can exist is a hilarious running gag. The show has a lot of those actually, and it's definitely one of the funnier anime I've seen this year. We've only spent time with essentially 3 characters so far, and all of them have been wildly entertaining, so that bodes well for things going forward. Lastly, among the good, the visuals are phenomenal. It almost feels like a more comic booky version of Spider-Verse. The entities, the atmosphere, the colors, the movements, all of it is tremendous. Everything looks so creative and unique. I haven't read the manga, but I could tell that the people working on this did it justice with how everything looked. It's not as modern as Oshi no Ko, but in terms of creativity, it might be the year's most visually impressive. It's truly breathtaking on that front. Not only that, it has a banger score that perfectly matches the vibe of the show. As for the bad, there isn't much here, yet. This might be nitpicky, but the pacing being as quick as it was took some adjusting to. It makes sense, but because everything is so out there and you get there so quickly, it can be a bit much. This one is a bit less nitpicky. Look, I'm lenient on fan service. I'm a huge fairy tale supporter for crying out loud, and Meliodas is one of my favorite characters, but I thought this took things way too far, to the point that it was legitimately uncomfortable. There's a situation early on that wasn't funny at all, even though I think they tried for it to be, and the recurring dick joke bit started funny and then quickly became overdone to the point of annoyance. Does every entity need to have something pervy about them? I'm going to say no. Will they? I have no clue. It'd be nice to broaden the cast a bit too. Side characters can make an anime. Will this expand to have a bigger cast? Again, I have no clue. I could see it going either way. Now let's talk about the crazy, and there will be light spoilers ahead. The main villain, at least so far, is a ghost named Turbo Granny, and along with her insane design and abilities, her gimmick is she curses you by stealing your dong. This curse plays a big role in the show, and probably will indefinitely. We also have these alien assaulters of a certain nature with robo-hot dogs between their legs. Perhaps the craziest part of all is that Turbo Granny actually feels like a legitimate threat, which, based off the name and her curse tactics, seems impossible, yet she's undoubtedly an intimidating presence. Combine all that with seeing demon sumo aliens, and I only have one question. If this is the first 3 episodes, what the hell is going to happen next? The funny thing is, these bonkers situations actually lead to familiar shonen outcomes, which they handled perfectly, to be honest. It's surprisingly straightforward, which is a credit to the writer, but when you describe it out loud, you sound legitimately insane. I can't wait to see what happens next. With that, I'm out.